Hey, good morning, everybody. So let's just remind you why I'm here. I'm here to try and help. Okay, yesterday, what did I talk about on the YouTube live stream? I did two things. I said a lot of things, but two things compared to the market, saying that the SPY would likely top out at 414, and the bottom of the range would likely be, what did I say, 410.90. Well, the bottom of the range was 411. The top of the range was 414. So there you go. And then we pulled up one chart yesterday, which was UAL. And the person said UAL has earnings coming out on Friday. What do you think about UAL? And I said, I would rather get into Delta Airlines. The options will be cheaper than UAL because Delta doesn't have earnings this week. Not only that, but Delta went up, I think, 2.5%. United Airlines only went up 1.5%. So let's get to what's important today. So, China's GDP came out. They beat their estimates, came in at 4.5. Bank of America reported this earnings this morning. Spoke about UAL, suggested Delta, right? Okay. SPY, inside bar day yesterday. What the hell does that mean? It means we're going through consolidation period. So when you go through a consolidation period in the market, once it's done consolidating, which it's doing, it's trading a very tight, narrow range. It's either going to explode north or explode south. So it's either going to go, and we'll say this morning we're at 415.92 right now. We'll talk about the dark pool levels. Now, for those people that don't believe me about dark pool levels, let me just find that posting. Here you go. Dark pool levels. Okay. What you can see is where dark pool levels used to be. It's the black line at the bottom. Okay. The last, what is it? 2 quarters, dark pool levels are insane, meaning dark pool levels, there's a ton of trading. It's like an off-market listing for a house. You're not putting it on the MLS to sell your house, but you're trading it in the dark pool, meaning off-market. So this is going on with all of your major stocks. So you need to be connected to a Discord. You could probably find ours below. But if you're not connected to us, follow someone on Twitter that follows dark pools. They'll tell you about certain off-market purchases. And I'll tell you a few about the SPY, which tell you some pretty important levels. Then what did I mention to Discord yesterday? It's my best trade. Why? Because I lost my phone yesterday for 4.5 hours. So I only got it back slightly before the market closed. What did I do? I got into some Roblox calls. So we'll see where Roblox is this morning. But again, Roblox got beat up yesterday. What other stock did I mention is willing to or ready to explode? SoFi, right? What is that? $6 pre-market. Again, I mentioned my entry would be right around $5.83 yesterday morning. I said I wouldn't buy at market open. I would let it come down $5.83, $5.82, $5.84. Where did it go yesterday? $5.80. Where is it this morning? $6. Doesn't mean it took off yet. But I do think SoFi is like a little volcano. It's stirring, and I believe it will take off. Next, I just want to bring up a chart real quick before I mention some other stuff. So we can all look at this chart with me. It's the SPY. Where are we seeing? We're sitting at 416. So what did I do? I went back from the 3-minute because the 3-minute tells you what? We're extremely bullish, right? We were extremely bullish. We found support right at the 411 range. 411.16 was the dark pool level. So you're right about here where my cursor is, okay? And this is the 3-minute chart. What happened? Well, you can see volume was increasing and we closed the day at a high and we're gapping up this morning. So the reason I'm bringing up the 1-day chart is if you look at with me at 416, where are we? We're right here. We're towards the peak. We're over this peak. We're over February's peak. So when I was telling you the market's consolidating, all right, we have two options. We break north in the market, meaning we stay bullish. Earnings remain good, right? Because that's what's going to determine if we stay bullish in the market. Earnings are good. What does that mean? Well, it means we go to the next dark pool level. So we're at $415, and I'll bring that up when I bring up Discord so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But the next dark pool level being right around 415, smaller level. What does that mean? It means we can break through 415. What's the next level higher? The next level higher is 417.50 and then 420. So you hear everybody talking about 420 on 420, 420 being what? Is that Wednesday of this week, Thursday of this week? People will say the SPY will be at 420. Interesting. Shit works out like that sometimes. But let's see. So let me just share the dark pool level. And yesterday, what else did I mention? I mentioned the Qs. I said on the Qs, if the Qs break north of 320, then I'm going to be bullish because I will ride them up to $324.30. Why? Because I already looked at the dark pool levels of the Q. So let's just bring that up as well. So let's just go to Discord Someone was looking at the dark pool levels. It wasn't me. What do I see? Dark pool level 319.97. After that, what is this? A ghost zone. So it hasn't changed since yesterday, meaning 319.97, which is 320. So you go up 2 points basically. Ghost zone, very small level comparatively speaking to the other two levels of support, right? 318, 18, and 316.40, which were a little bit of resistance yesterday, seem to turn into support. So again, if we hold that 320 level, there's no doubt that we're going to 324.30. That's the number I had. So what will I do? I'm going to look at the dark pool levels. Oh, shit. It hates when I type in caps. DP levels for the SPY. Let's see how that works out. And then I'm going to also look at the top flow. Top flow, and I'll explain why I'm looking at the top flow. All right, well, top flow came out. I don't know if the DP levels of the SPY came out, so we'll do that again. All right. So dark pool levels of the SPY. Let me make sure everybody can see that with me. You guys can. That's perfect. Let me go back to Discord right now. And again, there should be a link if you want to join our Discord. But what am I looking at? Well, the dark pool level moved up. The huge range that was at 408 yesterday is now closer to 410, 409.73. What does that tell you? If they're moving up the support level, okay, moving up the support level, moving the floor up, the support level now becomes just under 410, right? We say plus or minus 20 cents, but let's just say 409.50. Let's go 20 cents under, but you can say 409.73. Huge level telling me we'll probably bounce off there. The same thing I said yesterday. If we go down to 408 and change, we were going to bounce off there. We never got there. So there's a chance we never get to this level today. Next level higher, 411.87. Then you get 414, okay? Now you'll notice each level goes up by about $2 and maybe 33 cents, something in that range. This one went up, what, $2.13, $2.13, $2.14. So what do you think the next level higher? 213, 213, 214. Just do it. Even though it's not listed here, that's how you use numbers and math to your advantage. So I'll tell you right now, the next dark pool level higher is going to be $416.14. And then $418.25. So that's the number I'm going to focus on today. I actually think if we're giving a bullish day today, I'm going to give you what's going to happen in the SPY. So the SPY is sitting at 416, under 416 to start. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Bull case scenario. We're sitting at 416 right now. We go down. Market goes down on open, right? We touch the support level where we closed at yesterday, being 413.94, or being what was it? Yeah. Anyway, let's just say 414. So the market goes down to 414, and then we're heading up to 418.25. How do you know 418.25, Matt? Well, I just showed you the dark pool level, but it wasn't there. But I showed you it was a ghost zone at the next level higher. And then if you do the math and you do look at what the difference is between all the levels, it's about $2.13. So we go 416.14, and then we got 418.25. So that's how I get that. All right. So extremely bullish case day. We're dropping down to 414. Okay. We might flicker around during the day. I can't promise what the action is going to be during the day, but we're going to touch that 418.25 level. That's your bull case scenario. Now, your bear case scenario is, okay, I showed you guys resistance. We haven't been at 416 since the highs in February. So the market's going to struggle with that high. We're still consolidating. So we're still finding a new baseline. I showed you support would be just under 410. So where are we likely to trade? 410 to 414. 416. What are we going to drop off market open? That's your consolidation theory, is we're going to try to trade a very narrow range. So instead of 410 support, it might be that 411.87 that I showed you in the dark pool level. So you say 411.87. The SPY tends to trade a 4.5 point range. You add 4.5 points to 411.87, and you're at like 4.5 points, 416.30 something, right? So then you say, okay, 416.37. Where are we sitting pre-market? We're sitting just under 416, 415.82. What could potentially happen? So we say, okay, market spikes on open. We see it reject 416.37, 416.40. As long as it keeps rejecting that 416.37, 416.40, and the highs are at lower points, you can say, okay, the top is in. If the top is in at 416, let's just call it 50 for roundabout sakes, and you say, okay, the SPY range is going to trade about 4.5 points today, maybe it's a narrow day, maybe 4 points. You say, okay, we'll trade down to 412.50. Now, that's just a simple fact that we don't trade such a narrow range, like 1.5 points. By 10 a.m., you're looking at where the SPY is, and even if it looks like it spiked or it dropped, you're saying to yourself, or you should be saying to yourself, look at the range. We've only traded under a 2-point range. So even if it looks bullish or bearish, the judgment of the market isn't in yet. All right, with that said, I got a couple other things I wanted to mention, I think, and then I'm just going to mention a couple stocks. Okay, so we talk about short interest and cost to borrow. So here are some short squeezes that could potentially be in play. AMC, the borrowing fee, is 168%. EVGO, one of those, battery, companies like Blink. But EVGO, 77.5% fee to borrow. Beyond Meat, we all know what a failure they've been. Their rate to borrow right now is 70.3. And Upstart, they've been a failure. But I do believe, and I mentioned 3 stocks yesterday, AMC, Upstart, and SoFi. I'd be looking at all 3 of those for longer term positions. And then 5th on the list is Nikola, 52.3. But again, there's so many EVs that have been struggling that I would stay away from that one. Just doesn't have my interest. Next, I mentioned yesterday, China. China's probably going to keep practicing and doing their drills around Taiwan until they finally invade Taiwan. So what's happening? Taiwan to buy 400 U.S. anti-ship missiles intended to repel China. First of all, 400 is enough. It would need to be like 400,000. Next, yesterday morning, which was weird because I already predicted it. China warns of major military action in Yellow Sea on Tuesday. So, I mean, they're warning. Oh, here's a good one. Apple is now entering into partnership with Goldman Sachs, right? So now you can have an Apple savings account. Apple's paying you 4.15%. Well, how effed is that? Because Goldman Sachs has an account with Marcus, right? Goldman Sachs, Marcus, they pay you 3.9%. So they're partnering with Apple, paying 4.1%, 4.15. However, to their own clients, they give 3.9%. I'd be a little salty. Again, dark pool action, mentioned it, 412.50. I mentioned Delta Airlines better than United Airlines yesterday. SoFi, I've mentioned already. SPY range yesterday, okay? So I mentioned 414 on the top, 410.90 on the bottom. We went 413.96 on the top, 411 on the bottom. Mentioned to Discord yesterday, Roblox. I'm going to get out of those on market open, probably. Actually, I'm probably hold on to my Roblox calls. And those were entered into with 4 minutes left yesterday. So let's just see where Roblox is this morning. Okay, up 1.32%. Again, I was in the $40 calls. Yeah, I like the movement pre-market. It's good. AMC, liking the movement pre-market. Again, you need volume for any of those. SoFi, up over $6. It's barcoding. Okay, Johnson & Johnson came out with earnings. They beat, up 1.2%. There was up as much as 2.5% pre-market. So what's likely to happen? Johnson & Johnson is likely to go up 2.6% today, something like that. So if you catch Johnson on a dip, you might be able to make a quick scalp there. Bank of America was up as much as 3.28% pre-market. It's up 1.66, so I expect that to double. General Motors, again, I'm looking at this for a turnaround. I like this chart, okay? I see 8 out of 10 days outflow, and the stock is holding its own. Yesterday was an inflow day, up 1.88%. I expect General Motors to pop another 3 or 4% in the next couple days and be back about 36.50. So there's a trading idea. Let me get a couple more. Tesla, nope, passed on that one. Apple, I'm watching Microsoft, Google. We're back at airlines. Delta, United. Again, Delta was up 2.43% yesterday. United Airlines 1.7%. This morning, pre-market at 1% versus 0.66. So, I mean, there's a place to go. Morgan Stanley, they didn't report yet, but I do plan on taking a bearish position on Morgan. Now, something might have happened pre-market because here's what Morgan Stanley looks like pre-market. But I mentioned I expect out of all the banks, Morgan Stanley to come out with the worst earnings out of all the banks. So with that said, Morgan Stanley's been popping. I got in there the other day. I got out. I secured 27% profit. Now it's $88.38. Again, it was high as $89 yesterday. So we're in an optimal position to get in. Well, again, I think they'll report earnings either tomorrow or the next day. I'm looking at the 5-day chart. So the 5-day chart definitely looks good, but it looks like it could rip lower. So I'm going to look for a little bounce before it rips lower. With that said, let's see if we have any questions today. Got one question, so we'll answer the one question and move on. Netflix. What do I think about Netflix? So let's take a quick look at Netflix. Oh, by the way, Romeo will be live trading on Discord today. He's starting at 10:15 a.m. So again, if you're on our Discord, please join Romeo. Why? Because he's been on fire. If you like to make money and you're around at 10:15, now he doesn't hop into trades right away. He explains what he's looking for. Then he'll tell you where entry is going to be. Then he'll tell you who got in. Then he tells you, okay, it's up, down, whatever it is. So here's your Netflix. It's a little bit of a wave right here. The fact that we found support yesterday at the lower level, you know, could be bullish. Netflix again. I don't really know the valuation of Netflix. So I'm going to look at the forward PE. Do we even have a forward PE? Oh, we do. It's not so bad. 28.9. Yeah, I mean that's extremely low for Netflix. Netflix used to have a forward PE over 100, over 300, over 500. So the fact that the forward PE is at 28.9, coming down from 36. Yeah, I mean institutions will like that. And its high is $380, and Netflix is going to lead technology. So if technology is going to go higher, again, Apple is probably going to push up this morning because of their announcement with Goldman Sachs, and then Goldman Sachs has earnings coming out, and that's probably going to help Goldman Sachs. So banking sector, technology, again, I'm short-term bullish. The close that I saw in the market yesterday was exactly what I needed to see to be short-term bullish. Now, if the market changes on me and all of a sudden it just drops out of the sky, so be it. But I've been on the wrong side. I've been waiting for the market to turn around. And I watch on Twitter, and some of these people sound like I used to sound. They talk about all the terrible things. There's war. China's going to do attack Taiwan, interest rates, inflation, gas is ridiculous. There's flooding. There's natural disasters. They all talk like me. The market should drop, right? But it doesn't. You actually have to look at the charts and what the algorithms are telling you, what the flows are telling you, because you can see when the net flow reverses in the market, you know it's going to drop. But until that happens, the close that I saw yesterday and the data that I looked at last night tells me we're going to start strong. So it's no doubt that we're gapping up a little. And that's exactly the reason I went to Roblox. And again, we're sitting just under 416. So if you heard me or if you didn't hear me, you weren't around. Bull case scenario, 418 and a quarter on the top side. Yeah, and we'll get there today. The bear case scenario is, okay, we're going to drop on market open, and whenever we find resistance, whether it be 416 flat, 415, we're going to trade 4.5 points down or 4 points down. So it might be 416.50 to 412.50, and we're just going to range trade all day. But that's your bear case scenario. Understanding yesterday we closed towards the high, and people thought we were going to retract and come right back to 413 end of day. All right, so somebody asked me about Zoom. Not a stock I follow, but if I'm just going to look at Zoom, video communications. Oh, outflow yesterday was pretty substantial. Last 2 days, pretty substantial. If I am looking for a turnaround, I mean, it's risky. If the market pops, okay, if the Qs, here's your Zoom scenario, okay? If the Qs pop to 324.30, like I said is possible if they hold that 320 number, then guess what? Zoom's going to pop right back to $70 flat. No, maybe 70, maybe $71, 71.46. No, that's a 5-day. Let me go back a little more. 72, 72.07. Yeah, I mean, okay, if the Qs go to 324.30, Zoom is going to go to $72.07. However, if we have one of those range trading days where it was like, okay, market gapped up in the morning, but we're still going to range trade between 416 and 412, 416, 412, all freaking day. Guess what? Zoom's not going to explode. And in fact, Zoom looks a little bearish, so I could see it dropping a little more. So Zoom's a hard one to play without actually knowing Zoom like family. If I knew Zoom like family and you're following it, and one of my scenarios makes sense to you, so the scenario is we're dipping, it slows down, it spikes a little, but then it sells off again based on the volume and outflow. That's your one scenario. And the market hovers between 412 and 416 all day. Your other scenario is we hit that 418 and a quarter that I'm talking about on the SPY, and Zoom pops all the way back up to the range, of 7180, 7138, 7207. Any of those numbers are possible. So hopefully that helps. What do you got there, K-Dub? Good morning. Running late. Shopify, bullish or bearish? You made 5% yesterday trading it. Well, that's good. By the way, I made a comment yesterday. Start with $1,000 in your account. Make 1% profit a day. Just 1% profit. Do it for 2 years. 1% profit a day, your account will have 180,000 in it. $1,000, 1% a day. You don't have to be rich to trade. You can be the average person. In fact, a lot of our Discord members are newer traders that we're helping establish and understand how to trade. Because if you go into trading and you don't understand how to trade, or you just watch some YouTube guys like myself talking about stocks, that's definitely not trade. Or you follow people on Twitter, not how to trade. When you follow the flows and algorithms and you know what you're looking for and looking for bearish divergence, bullish divergence, you know that the stock price will drift up. You can see that the market's going to fade or when it's not going to fade by looking at dark pool levels. Or for your stocks, you know when there's demand because there'll be a supply zone, right? Anyway, all right. So Shopify, that's what I wanted to look at. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Hey, okay. Here's what I noticed about Shopify, and I noticed about a couple other stocks. In the 2 days that it skyrocketed yesterday and the day before from the off selling that it was doing, the volume was about half as much the past 2 days. As it's going up, volume's half too much. As it was going down, volume was double what it is the past 2 days. So again, it's a follow the market. If the Qs go, again, Qs hold 320 and we see 324 and a quarter like I predicted, then yeah, Shopify is going to go up and there'll be demand. And the level that it rejected last time was $53, which is what, $5 from where we are right now. So, I mean, I'd watch that level carefully. Again, we're getting frothy in a lot of stocks. See, that's the thing. If we go up, I'm hearing 420 is rejection. I'm hearing 430 is rejection. There has to be a reason why the market is going to reject. So, Bobby Brown, Roblox calls this week. Did you get in yesterday? If you got in yesterday, because again, mentions Discord, I was looking at Roblox. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm getting it on market open because what's going to happen in Roblox, it was either going to drop more yesterday or it's just going to sputter around and you were going to pay too much for those calls. So again, I got into Roblox calls. It was probably a couple minutes. I think it was 4 minutes to close. Let me just see what Roblox looks like this morning. Again, I don't go by pre-market all that much. Up 1.5%. See, I like that. They were buying Roblox yesterday. So the reason I got into Roblox, now some stocks drop and they will drop further. But I know that Kathy has a shitload of Roblox. And I know, if anything, she's doubling down on her position the same way she used to do with Tesla. I know she's not selling as it's dipping. So I'm thinking recovery. So I got in the $40 calls yesterday. You know, what would be great for me? Well, I don't know. Anything would be great. I mean, we see $43 or $42.58 or $42.68 even. I'm out. $2.68. I'll make over 100%. So you're looking for movements like that. Now, why do I say inflow? Because you can see that huge green line. What does that mean? A lot of people get confused between inflow and outflow. The green line means that people were bidding for the stock. They were paying the ask. I'm buying. The stock is in demand. I'm buying at the ask. I'm paying the ask. Now, when people are selling or shedding a stock, something's going down, and I'm selling it at the bid. I'm selling it at the bid. That's outflow. I'm eager to get rid of my stock rather than someone buying it. So hopefully that simplifies the inflow and outflow theory, because if you look at a stock and it keeps going higher off outflow, it means as soon as it has an inflow day, it's going to pop. So when I look at SoFi, that is what I see. When I look at AMC, that is what I see. So when I say, and when I used to talk about different stocks and they used to pop within a day or two, I mean, that was good timing. But now it might take a week or two. It's not the same market as it was, you know, last summer or even before that. But I used to tell people stocks are going to pop and they would shoot up 26%, 17%, which is unheard of. Okay. Is UNW a buy? Again, you have to base it on your overall decision about the market. If you say institutions are keep buying, which they are, okay, people are still bullish in the market, then you could say yes. Okay, so let's look at W first and look at Wayfair. Again, the market cap at 3.94. I mean, institutions aren't going to be in Wayfair. You know what they're going to, I mean, they will be, but they're more or less going to be in the larger retail names like a Target, like a Costco. That's what they're looking at. So I like to find institutional names because when there's a rotation and I'm in a stock and they rotate into my stock, it's going to pop like 9% on one day. Even if it's a stock that doesn't move like that. I mean, you haven't seen a move of 10% for Wayfair for quite some time, except when it dropped off earnings. So, I mean, you know, and I'm assuming earnings are coming out again, right? Because earnings were the end of February. So we've got to have earnings coming out again. Yeah, let me look at you. I don't want to add that to my watch list. I almost added Wayfair, something I do not want to do. You. Let's see it. Unity software. Yeah, I like Unity. Sure, chart looks good. Demand's there. Volume's good. Market cap's not ridiculous. Let's see what the PE is. Earnings per share negative. Forward PE 106, so it's very spec. I get it. It was as low as $21, as high as 90 something dollars. Again, I don't really follow Unity, but I can tell you the chart looks pretty decent, and it looks like it can fill a gap to like 36 off last earnings, which I guess happened towards the end of February. So yeah, if the market stays bullish and the Qs hit that 324.30 level, then yeah, Unity will go up back to just under $34, I would say. So that's still a 10% move. So I mean, I'd rather be in Unity than I would in Wayfair right now. But again, that's for you to decide. I make no decisions for everybody. I just share my thoughts. Last thing I wanted to share is back on Discord. How do I decide what I want to trade today? Well, I do this, TR, and then I type in top flow. Hopefully this works. I use some caps. Let's see. I think I looked at it before. Up here it is. Top flow. Now, what does this mean? It means the top traded options. The most options have been traded in Tesla, this ETF, KRE, small banks, the VIX. Ooh, that scares me. Or it's people just hedging. Microsoft. Why? Because Microsoft took a dump on itself. Netflix. Why? We spoke about that already. Charles Schwab. Why? Did Charles Schwab come out with earnings this morning? That's pretty important for the banking sector. And I heard Jim Cramer saying something about it, so I'm assuming they did. Let's see. Did they come out with earnings this morning? When is earnings? Upbeat first quarter. Where is it? Schwab gets price target cut by analysts. I'm not seeing it. I don't want to tell you they came out with earnings if they didn't, but I can tell you people were bullish. Dia and then Citibank. You could still trade even the ones that are bearish that have a lot of action. You could trade them. Why? Because the more action, the more volatility there is, the higher volume is making them more liquid, meaning you're only paying a penny more or $1 more to get in. Remember, my lesson from yesterday, and this is my lesson for everybody. Last, I'll leave you on this. Whatever you're buying today, if you're buying an option and you're an options trader like myself, whatever position you're going into, whether it ends today and it's 0 days till expiration, or Friday, or next week, or you go out a month, do me a favor, underbid. Say you're looking at an option contract and it's $540. Say to yourself, I generally miss by 5% at least. I'm down at least 5% on all of my trades at some point or another. You're going to bid $5 for this contract, $500. Say, what is 5% of $500? 10% is 50. I know that. So $25 less. So instead of bidding $500, put it in your order for $475. Save that $25. Do that on the next trade as well. Every one of your trades, look for 5% on the way in, 5% extra on the way out. You're going to sell that same option contract for $1,000. Say to yourself, 5%. Let me sell it for $1,050. If it executes at 1,000, there's a good chance it would have went up that extra 5% as well, especially when you're trading options. So make that extra, get that extra nibble on the way in, way out. I'll see everybody later. I'm headed over to Discord.